Hey, it's Mark, RPM Tesla Aftermarket Accessories, talking about our new cluster displays for the Model 3 and the Model Y. So this is the full installation video. You're going to make a choice between AMD and Intel. We'll get to that in a minute. And you're going to need a flathead screwdriver, maybe a little pry tool, and definitely a T20 torque bit for one little screw under the driver's side of the dashboard. So let's take a look and show you what comes in the box. It's packed up very nicely, and we have the wire harness, and we have the actual display unit, and it has a nice screen protector on it. So after we're done installing everything, make sure you remove the screen protector on the front, and we'll show you the full boot up sequence. Take this off last. This is for upgrades. Let me do some firmware upgrades. Nothing else in the box. And again, now let's talk about the wire harness. Now this is the AMD wire harness. There's also the Intel, and it's very easy to install. If you buy or you select the Intel for the older Model 3 and Model Ys, you're going to run one wire to here and one wire to the computer, and that's it. In this version, the newer cars, the AMD, you're going to run one wire over and plug it into the A pillar, and then you're going to stop for power right underneath the center console charging pad area. So we're going to get power from the charging pad in the Generation 2 center consoles, and data we're going to borrow from the open blue plug. Very, very easy. Now, again, AMD is this plug. Intel's a bigger plug. Both we're going to have a Y-type splice, but you're not going to use this. You're going to use an open port in the blue plug we're going to show you right here. So let's get started. We're going to talk about popping this off, popping the panels off underneath the driver's side of the dashboard, and also the passenger side. And let's talk next about choosing the correct one. You click on your display, click on software, and you click on additional vehicle information. Now this is for people that may not know what type of infotainment processor is in their car. So see right here, AMD. This is a newer car, so you know this is the AMD, which is the super easy connection, and the Generation 2 center console with the sliding drawer, not the flip drawer. And also look down here in the door. If you have any questions about it, you're going to choose on our website to determine if your car was built before November of 2022, then you would select Intel. And if it was built after November of 22, you select the AMD. Okay, so again, today we're going to do the AMD install, and tomorrow we're going to do the Intel. We'll make two videos, two choices, and again, this is kind of the overall introduction to both types. Okay, when you get in the Model 3 or the Model Y, I like to spread everything out. This wire is going to connect on the display. We're not going to use this optional green wire. This is our data cable, so we're going to get that with the AMD plug that's on there. And then this is where we're going to come down for the power to connect to this charging pad power supply. So, okay, everything's in the car. We've got our tools on the ground. First thing to do is turn off your power. Now the power is going to turn back on every time you get in or out of your seat, every time you open and close a window, anytime you turn the air conditioning on and off. So again, we just recommend just turning off the power under safety and then power off. Now, if I touch the brake pedal, it's going to turn right back on. So again, under safety, power off. And again, this is just a precaution. It doesn't really make a difference, and everything's going to fit perfect and install easily. So again, don't even touch the display. It's safety, power off, And now we're ready to start. First thing to do is take your seat and back it all the way up. Driver's seat, passenger seat, all the way back, tilt it all the way back. We're going to be removing these panels really easily. And on the steering wheel, we're going to be sliding it all the way out. So again, I'm going to go into my controls, wake it up, go into controls for steering. And the steering wheel, we're going to slide all the way down and all the way out. This gives us access inside, and when we take this top piece off, everything's going to come right off the top of this. Okay, so now we're not going to save anything. We're just going to go to safety and power off. And now we're going to get started. Okay, so first step is the center console. We want to show you this power source and how to get to it. So we're going to show you how to take off the panels on your Generation 2 center console. So these come off quite easily. You just need to start it by prying it open like this. And you'll find 7 snaps on each side. So you just twist them or pull them, but they don't break. They're attached to very hard plastic. And once we get this side, it'll make a lot more sense. So what we're doing is just pulling these off slowly, one at a time, so you don't have to use a pry tool. And don't worry, they don't break. Again, this is just to get to our power source. Now we're going to lift this up, so be really careful you don't cut your fingers. Just lift this up and pull up. And don't pull it too far. Now underneath here we've got a clip that we're going to disconnect. And it's connected right on the back of the power supply. You just push this clip down, as my finger is doing, down and pull it out. Sorry, open the clip and slide it. So this is the power, and this is our center console. So your wireless charging pad is only connected by all these little brass clips, and just make sure they're all on here. They're not stuck in the center console. And we'll put this aside, and we're going to move on now to taking this power supply. So this is why we are going here. We're going to borrow some power. We're going to connect this one to here. And then this one's going to plug back into the charging pad. This is giving us a fresh supply of 12 volt power. And it's all plug and play, no warranty issues. So once we're going to plug this back in, and we're going to hide it into the dashboard, but for now we're not going to do anything. We're just going to leave this open. And now we're going to proceed with removing the top cover of the steering column so we can insert ours, connect the plugs, hide the wire, and get to the other side. It'll be that simple, and it'll move along really quickly now. Okay, now we're going to be installing the actual center column replacement piece. And one thing we're going to be doing is putting this right here, right around the stalk for your shifter. And we want you to notice that this is a large clip and this is a large clip. And these are designed to go down inside to the bottom of the bottom half and connect. So this is where we want to put pressure and snap these up to remove this top piece. Don't worry about it. You're never going to use this ever again. And we want to show you where we think the best way to remove this from is. Now, some people are suggesting to remove the dashboard, which is a lot of work just to remove these grommets. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lift up on the cloth here and take a look for a nice place to insert our tool. Again, you can use any kind of pry tool. You can use a plastic or a metal screwdriver, but again, we don't want you to scratch anything. That's why we're using plastic. So just push this in, and then now we're going to insert this piece just like this and get underneath it. So shove it way inside and snap it up. So we're right about here right now, and we're inserting it at this level. And there's no clips for a little ways away. The clips are here and here. So we want to find a spot to start in. And you can see the clips now. See right here? So that's it. Just once you get that side up, it's pretty easy. It's all going to unsnap. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, same thing over here. we're going to lift this side up on the left, around the stalks, and then we're going to continue to pull it straight up and out. So again, see, the clips are exactly the same on this unit as this in the same location. So you can't damage it. There's nothing to worry about. Now we have to remove this piece. So we're going to lift the piece up like this. You're going to pinch these little grommets like this. Just squeeze it and push it through the back. Squeeze it, push it through. Squeeze it and squeeze it. It was very nice of Tesla to make this so easily to change out. This one's a little tougher. Okay. So once you do all that, now you've got the original made in Mexico top half of the column, and then we're going to connect ours. So we know how this is going to work. It's going to use the same 4 connection spots or the holes. So we'll do that now, and then we'll run the wire up. So we're going to connect all 4 spots. Don't scratch your beautiful carbon fiber dashboard if you happen to purchase one of these replacement dashboards from us. And just pop each one of these in, push it from the back side. Very easy. Okay, so that is the cowl, I believe, or the top of the dashboard. Now we're going to connect this, and we're going to run it down here. So since this is going to be installed and this is going to be installed, we just don't want to make any connections until we know exactly where the wires are running. So we already have this piece here, we already have this piece here, and we're open in the back. So we're going to go underneath and run this piece and connect it up and plug it in here. So that's why I'm not connecting this yet. Okay, so now we're going to start with the final step, which is removing the bottom panels from both sides by your feet. And this is where you're going to use your flathead screwdriver, your pick. And on this side, we're going to use this T15 torque bit. So we're going to get down here, or a T20. Okay, we're going to get down here and do that real quick. Okay, now we're going to remove the bottom panel, and we're going to feed the wire up into the harness, up in the column area, and pull it out of the top and plug it in, and then pull it down and make a nice tight fitment. This is a good time to upgrade the RGB lights. So, the footwell lights in the car. So if you happen to have these very dull white footwell lights, we've been selling thousands and thousands of our colored ones, just so it's not so bright while you're driving or distracting. With these lights, you can make them red, blue, green, any color you want. You can make them flash. You can just leave them bright white. You could turn the brightness down. You could turn the brightness down or up. So they're really nice if you don't want to be distracted while you drive. Of course, red doesn't dilate your pupils like in a dark room. Anyway, that's just a little commercial here. We wanted to explain how popular our RGB lights are, because you can upgrade all the lights in your Model 3 and your Model Y. We even have them in backseat lighting upgrade kits, the doors, everywhere, even in your tailgate in the Model 3, and the 2 lights in the back of the Model 3 and the tailgate in the Model Y. Okay, so anyway, plug that back in, and it locks right in place. So it's super easy to use. You just need a flathead screwdriver. But let's move on now, and we're going to turn on our super bright light, and we're going to remove the panel from the bottom. So we need this T20 to unscrew one screw, and it's right here. So just loosen this one up. The rest of them are all grommets. So you need a T20 torque bit. And then the other ones, you can use a flathead screwdriver, just like this. Watch how easy this is, everybody. Just put it right in and twist it and pull down on the piston. And that is loose. Same thing here. So there's no more back here. There's only 3 of them. Just put it in and twist it. Push it down or pull it all the way out. And that should do it. Now this whole black panel, which doesn't have a texture to it, is going to come down. This textured surface is not going to be removed. In the older cars, it might have come down. But in the brand new 23, it's not.
So anyway, we're gonna now pull this panel down. Now, obviously we have a wire here, so don't pull it down very far, but you're gonna unsnap it just like this with a tool. And I'm gonna pull the grommet all the way out. And you can grab it in the front or the back, doesn't make a difference. Once you get it down like this, it's just gonna unsnap. Very easy. Unsnaps completely like this. Here's the other grommet. So again, you'll notice we took out two grommets and one T20. Now just lay it on its side like this. And you notice your drive shaft down here, the steering column. And now what we need is a little access in here to run the wire up to the top. So this piece on the side here, we've already moved out, but this piece here is going to give us a little access to run the wire around and hide it so you don't see it. So rather than remove the carpeting, which is a little more involved, just pull this thing down. You'll see there's a little clip that holds it in place, but this is all molded plastic, all connected to the vent. Now this is the air vent system that blows the hot air down to keep your feet warm. Okay, with the steering column replacement piece out of the way, you can see the wire harnesses inside. You can see how Tesla runs a lot of wires in there. And what we're gonna do is run the wire up. So one way to run it up is to run a slip line down inside. So again, we're gonna hold this and show you what we're talking about. So you just wanna take a fish line if you can't reach it. Now I probably could have reached it, but this is probably a lot easier because now you're just pushing this down inside, and then we're going to pull the wire up. So straight down like this, it comes right out the back. You see down here, Ryan, see it? There we go. So all we're going to do now is pull the wire up. So how do you do that? We take the end and we use a piece of tape. And we're going to tape this right on here, just like this. One piece there, and one piece here. We just don't want to damage anything, so a little bit of tape, and we'll pull it straight up. So just pull it like this. It's going to pop right up here through the column. And now we have our wire. So again, people use coat hangers, slip line, or you could just grab it with your hand. Just unwrap it now. And then we're going to connect it. And then we're going to take the slack down back under the dashboard. So we'll keep taping. And now we can get rid of this. And now we have our cord. So again, the only reason we want to plug it in now is just to make sure that we don't leave too much slack up top. So I'm going to gently plug it in. And it locks. And now I'm going to pull the wire down inside. And we'll set it right here. So now we know we haven't left too much slack. So right now you'll see we're already plugged in. It has power. It's not connected to the computer yet. Okay, so now we got all the slack here nice and tight. And we got two wires. Don't forget we have one for the power, which is already connected, and one for the data. So just leave them down here and just route them behind this plastic piece. Right here, sorry. Route them behind, away from the brake pedal, and up here. And then we're gonna put this just like this. So we're just tucking it behind. And we don't want to interfere with the air duct vents. So once the wire's up here, now it's out of the way. And you can see we're on this side of the ventilation vent. And pull them nice and snug to make sure they're not blocking anything. So you'll notice this is what's feeding straight up into the ducting for the octave valve. Okay, so now we got these two wires. And now we're going to continue around the corner. So if you get it from a real wide angle over here, we got these two wires, and we're going to press them up in here, and then we're going to tuck them down inside. So we're just taking them and getting them out of the way like this and pushing them down. This is best because we don't want the charging pad to have any problems fitting nice and tight and snug up here. So use this tool to push them up and out of the way. So there's a gap here. And now the wires have entered the center console area. So next we're going to leave the charging wire in here. We're going to tuck it in somewhere nice and snug, leaving enough slack to connect the wireless charger. And then we're going to move on to the passenger side to connect our data cable. So we're going to make sure that's nice and tight. And now we're going to switch spots. Okay, make sure this wire is behind the top of the wireless charging pad. You'll see we have plenty of slack. What we're going to do is go over here on across and plug this right in. It's that simple. We'll be getting the data and everything will be done. Then we're going to make a close-up video. We're going to close everything up since right now all the compartments are open. So again, 4 more grommets here. So just get underneath it somewhere like this and snap it down. And don't worry, it comes out very easy and your grommet will pop right out usually. So just go along the side, get it from the back. This is a good spot. Just get it here and come down. So you have the grommets inside, which come out, and then now you have this little tray. So again, don't pull down and break this speaker. This is a tiny little speaker. And again, this is our light, and look how these disconnect. Just squeeze it and slide. No tools are required. So slide that, pop the light out, put in the RGB light, you'll be all set. Now, okay, we've got this side down. So now we're going to run the wire across. So again, same thing. We're going to plug this wire in. Hide it just like this up top. And we're going to tuck it in above and inside this big open cavity back here. And now we're in. So see, this wire is just going to be all concealed behind everything down here, up high angle, down here like this, and around there. So that wire is going to be completely hidden right underneath the panel, right across here. Again, you have ducting as well. Don't interfere with the ducting. You can even run over this cable if you want. Pull it nice and tight. And see, these are the air ducts. This is what's blowing on your feet. So you don't want to put it over the opening to the air ducts. Okay, so now we're at the very end. And then we're going to come down and plug it in. So now we're going to take this panel off. Okay, now we're going to connect the wire to the blue plug right here. So just take the rubber seal, the door seal. Just notice there's no glue in here, nothing to worry about. And now on the top we have a clip, and then we have a hook. So use the little pry tool or your screwdriver, whatever you have, and pull this away. And then this is a hook. So there's the hook and there's the clip. So it's going to go back in like this in reverse. The hook and the clip. Okay, now we're down to this piece. Now here we have 1 grommet on this long sill plate panel. So again, make sure that you release this with the screwdriver. It helps to have light, but I could grab it like this, thank you. So there's the little clip. And once you pop this one off, and get the grommet, and try not to block the light. Then the grommet's loose. So again, pull the grommet out. Don't let it fall down inside. Like this. And this is a larger size one. It's got a small piston but a big closure there that goes through that hole. So don't lose that. Okay, now for the sill plate cover, pull the rest of this out. And if you happen to have our sill plate cover protectors on here, which are great, so you don't scratch this piece, just be very gentle here and lift it up. You'll see down here where it locks in. It is going to unlock in a couple of places. And when we have enough room, we're just going to twist it to the side. So now, here is another clip. So now we're going to release this one the same way, another grommet that holds the carpet kit in. Again, look how easy that comes out. Just pop it loose and grab it in here. Okay, now we're looking for the AMD plug. The AMD plug is blue. And again, this is a 2023. And from my angle, it's a little hard to see, but it's right here. So that is where we're going to plug into the open computer port. So again, here's some taking this and plugging it directly in. So we want to put the carpet kit away, hide everything first. Again, we've already ran this all the way across. Now we're going to come down the side and plug it in. So if you don't have enough slack, it means you left too much under the center console. Just want to let people know that. We definitely are certain about this. So we're going to make sure the computer's off, and we're going to plug this right in. So again, you're holding the male side. The female side you're not going to use. The male side's going to go right inside and lock right in. Now the question is, which way does it go? So you can see this tab here. It's going to go straight in like this. So we're going to put it in this way and plug it straight in. So it looks a little crowded in here. Sorry, but it's really not bad. Some cars, they're hanging straight out and they're just sitting right here. We've installed a bunch of these between our few different systems. So line it up, 2 grooves here, set it right on top of the blue plug, and lock it in. So ready? Here we go. Now that's locked in, and now we're not going to do anything else. We're going to go back to our new cluster and let the car power up and make sure everything is working great. So now get back in the car, touch the brake pedal, wake it up if it's not already woke, and there's our cluster. And now you can see that we are in kilometers per hour, and we're going to show you how to correct all that and update that. And we're going to touch the brakes, hit the high beams, put it in drive, put it in reverse, park. So everything is great. It's getting all the data. Tire pressure will come up, and we'll show you how to put all the settings on either kilometers or miles next. Okay, so let's go back over here and finish closing it all back up. Okay, first things first is putting the other plug around here, this female end, tucking it in. And again, we're not interfering with anything. We're not cutting any wires. And now this panel piece is going to go up here. So everything's going to fit up here nicely. And we're going to slide this piece right back over. just like that. And then this big grommet, it's gonna go right in here. So we're just doing everything in reverse, but again, we like to film it so you can see everything in real time, except when I cover up everything with my hands. So lean the pocket over, the panel over, make sure this is all the way down. And now this grommet here, sometimes the teeth grab it. So there's the base. There we go. Trying not to block the light. So the base is in. Now the piston and lock it. So that one's secure, and that one's secure. And now what we're gonna do is let's show you that these clips here, there's 1, 2, 3 of these clips. If you've pulled it all the way out, it'll make a lot more sense how easy it is to line them all back up, to put them back in the sill panel correctly. So we're just gonna go like this, hold this away, push down, lock it in. And now same thing on the side over here. We've got some long clips that are going in. Same thing, just make sure you're lining them up straight. Putting this piece underneath. So that brass one goes in that big hole there. And now we're ready for the one on the top. Go. So there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of movement here. There we go. Same thing here. Release one of the teeth. Pull the base out. Put the base in first. Hold it in place. Put the piston in. And turn it until it locks in. So now this is perfect. This is going to be perfect next. So again, remember the hook's on the bottom and the clip on the top. So hook the bottom, put it right next to the glove box, put it right up here, make sure this is lining up with this slot. And it's got nowhere to go, but straight in. Now we're gonna take the seal, push this straight up, push this straight up, and look how it just locks in. So again, a lot of people get wind noise when their seals aren't pushed in all the way. So the first thing we do when a customer comes over and they say, can you help us? You know, we check all the seals and make sure they're pushed all the way in and stretched upward and downward enough. Okay, so we've got some guide pins. Don't forget we got these clips. So put the panel all the way in. Don't forget to plug in the light that I just disconnected. And make sure the speaker is connected and the vents are going to line up here. Push it all the way up and in. And you'll notice here, there's a clip that's got a catch. So the bottom's going to go in first and all the way towards the firewall or towards the front of the car. And now I'm on this side over here. Check this out. So I've got that one going straight up and in. So that's going to lock that one in. These are all going to lock themselves in when they reach over this ledge like that. Real-time installations. Okay, so now let's take a look at the wire that's left before we put on the panel. So the wire here is hanging down. This sliding mechanism goes back and forth. It doesn't need to have anything in here to get hooked or to grab on it. So we suggest that you use a little piece of tape and tape these wires together and make them a little shorter. So let's see if we can get the bright light up here and show you what we mean. So originally this harness came out here and ended here. We've extended it slightly and it's connected to this one. So we want to put this piece of wire in the back. just like this. So just take the wire and hide this thin wire in the back and put this one in the back, and then maybe tape them together and put them all the way in to the center console right below your display unit. So now you have the original length type of wire here. And now let's put the center console back on. So we want you to be sure you don't have any brass clips stuck inside any of the holes on the side, which means you need to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on each side. And then there's 3 in the middle. 1, 2, and 3. So you have 8 going horizontal on one side and 3 here. Once you've counted them all, now don't forget we're going to connect this wire right here. And this clip is going to lift up and it's going to lock in place. So it's going to turn around like this and plug in. So let's show you that, which is really good to know. Sometimes people fast forward to this point just to see it closer up. So you don't want to scratch anything. You have a lot of sharp brass edges, and you want to plug this right into here. So we're going to move our display out of the way. And see this clip there? So I'm going to go turn it right around like this and plug it in just like this. Now your phones will wirelessly recharge, and now that's secure. So the next thing to do is to spread this out. So take these legs and spread them out. And now underneath here, look way underneath, we gotta make sure that we're putting this back in all the way up and underneath. So see, all the way there. And then we're gonna go like this and like this. So this is all secure, all flush, all perfect. Now we just want to connect the side legs the same way. Just a series of taps and then spreading your hand back and forth to make sure that everything is on. See? Not too hard. Then what we're going to do right after this is we're going to connect our wireless light in here, the rope lighting. Okay, so now you can put your chairs straight up, and then we're going to connect the actual display to the column. So now we want to make sure that we're going to first connect the grommets. So remember, underneath here we've got 4 grommets, right? So there's 4 of them. I'm going to put those back through the holes. 1, like this. 2, I'm pushing them from the back, okay? And then 3, and 4. Once all these are pushed back in, you're done. Now we're going to connect and gently slide it down and put it right in. So now we're looking for connection areas, or where the pins are going to connect. It's good to see just on this side. You can see that this is going to go right over the stock. This pin is going to go in this hole. So that's going to go right there. This is going to go here. If you look from a real high angle, you can see this is going to go in here. So line up all of the connections on both sides. Make sure that you are straight over the pins. And then now the wire is naturally out of the way, running down on the right side. So we're ready to lock it in and clip it all together. So now we're going to push on this side. And you'll see this one's going to go right in there. This one in here. And I'm going to double check on this side. Make sure all the cloth is out of the way. And then this piece here does have to go underneath. So we want to insert this piece in underneath the steering wheel, just like that. So once you're here, pop into the steering wheel bezel on the back. Then it's going to go right down nice and easy. Okay, now once the bezel is snapped in, underneath here, then we're going to put some pressure and squeeze the panels together, just like this. So push from the bottom up. Same thing on this side. So 4 loud clicks, and it's all installed. And then of course you can return your steering wheel to the retracted position, not the extended position. And now we're going to finish up with putting together everything underneath here. So we've got three grommets. And snap it right up in place. Pop the grommets in. While we're doing that, we're going to put our steering wheel back in and insert it all the way. So we're going in like this, and we're putting the grommet in at the same time. Sorry, the T20. Tighten it all the way up. And everything is now back together. And now we just have to show you how to set the clock and the time and everything else on the display. But it fits great, it looks perfect, and we're very proud of this new unit. So now let's get into our final double check of all the connections and show you how to program everything for kilometers or miles. Okay, now we're going to program the time, and we're going to program miles instead of kilometers, and we're going to go to Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. You might be in Canada, you might not want to change anything, but we're also going to put this in English here. So let's go to the right. On the right, the scroll button, hold it to the right and wait, and there's our menu. Now you're going to scroll up and down like this with the same finger and make changes and go all the way to exit when you're done. So now California is, we're going to go here Fahrenheit and go down GMT +8. So California is, I believe it is 12. So we'll just say it's 12. And now here we have characters for Japanese or Chinese. Here we have PSI or bars. Here's can. And next is kilometers to miles. And here's English. Okay. So now once you change English, everything makes sense. We'll go back here. So we have theme. So we have dark mode, automatic mode, bright mode, dark mode. So again, when your car is on automatic, this will change with it. If your car is on bright, then you can put this on bright. The best thing to do is just put it on automatic. It will change with your car settings and automatically know based on the time if it should be in light or dark mode. PSI, can, we don't know what can is, mileage, English, 12-hour format, 24 format, and then units, we'll leave it on 1. And now exit is enter. Now we have 4 o'clock, range is in English, miles per hour. This is our distance for the autopilot by moving it left and right. And now we're 62 degrees, park, 51% battery life, and that's it. Now the doors are open. When we close the doors, we'll do that real quick. You'll see the doors close. right on the display. And now we have PSI, which will populate once the tires start moving. You'll see we put it in drive and we move forward. You'll see our speed changing when we hit 1 mile an hour. This is the hold mode. This means our seat belts aren't on. This is our high beam indicator, our auto high beam, turn signals, right and left. Everything is working great. Okay, and don't forget, we're going to have firmware updates, so we'll be able to customize and change these things. A lot of this area here will be customizable, future releases. And that does it. I hope everyone likes it. Sorry it took so long to get some of those grommets in. But the nice thing is, that I really like about this feature is that when I'm in reverse, your car over here tells you how many inches you are, and you start seeing everything inside of here as well for distances. So it works really good. Thanks again for watching. You can turn your screen on here, like we mentioned, your display. Leave it on automatic. That'll work automatically in terms of brightness. If you want to make things brighter, let's say you're in light mode on your screen, this brightness turns this one up and down. This one is on dark because it knows it's after sunset, so it knows it's dark out. But again, automatic mode, brightness. Look at how sharp that is. Looks really awesome. Thanks again for watching. And now we're going to clean all the carpets up, wipe everything down, and the cluster display is installed, and it looks awesome.
Okay, now if you have a Model Y or 3 built before November 2022, you're going to select Intel. So you're going to get a box and it's going to say made for Intel, so check it out. And right now we're going to show you the quick differences, and then we're going to show you the wiring difference. So everything is the same in terms of the actual cluster display for the column, but the wire is different. Now this wire has 2 plugs. And that goes to the main computer and 1 plug to the harness. You don't need to wire this anywhere except on the computer all the way over to the cluster itself. So you don't plug in any wiring or any connection in the center console like you watched in the other video. The only difference is we're going to plug this in here. We're going to run it all the way across. Instead of plugging into the B-pillar plug, we're going to take this plug and unplug the CPU, plug it in here, and plug this in the CPU or the main computer. So that's the only difference. Thanks again for watching, and we hope you love your display because they sure are awesome. Okay, now if you have the Intel processor, remember how to check. Always go to your display, always go under software, additional vehicle information, and here it says Intel. So you have the Intel one, and the Intel only has 2 plugs, a male and a female, and the power for the cluster. And as we mentioned a minute ago, you're going to go all the way across. Now, Intel users are going to be very happy. We found an easier way to hook this up. You're not going to have to take this apart. You're not going to have to take anything apart, but remove the dashboard. We're going to run the wire right across, down, and plug it in. This will be the simplest installation possible. So again, to remove our dashboards from our Teslas, it's very easy. You have to get this panel off and this little end cap. And also you won't need anything other than the little pry tool we give you. You won't need to use the fishing line. So pull the little fuse panel compartment open. That's what we named it because there used to be fuses in these. And then use this piece itself to knock this off. So just knock the end cap off. It locks like this. We put it back on. Just tap it. And now to get the dashboard out, you want to use 2 hands, 1 on each side of the monitor, and just press it up and it will unsnap. So we'll do this side first, and this side.
comes right out. So again, it does sound like a lot of plastic against plastic. And now you'll notice that this is your full dashboard. Either it's generation 1 or generation 2. That doesn't make a difference. Put this aside. And now you want to make sure all your clips are in place. So when you put your dashboard back, you have all of your clips in place. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'll snap right back together. We'll show you that when we're done. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the male and female ends that get the power and the data, and we're going to put them all the way across the dashboard. And now we're going to show you how to remove this, how to connect this to it, how to put the new one in place, and then we're going to show you how to tape this down right in the middle of the dash, and how to hang it over the side and connect it to the main computer. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the filming now. Now we're going to start the interior installation, and again we're going to be replacing this part of your column display with this one and plugging this into that plug. So first things first are remove these 2 little grommets. So just free it up with the little black tool we're giving you. Pull the grommet out. This is going to let the collar out, or the little sleeve that's hanging off of the top. And now you can see this whole thing comes right off and down. So this here is not connected anything. We're going to move the steering wheel all the way out, and we're going to show you that now we have freed up some room, and pull it all the way out, and then we're going to turn the computer off. So this is all part of the sleeve or the collar. Normally we remove it in here, but now we're going to simply disconnect it, take it all apart, put the new one in place, and then we're going to position the wire. All right, so we're going to turn our power off, and now you see here we have to get an opening between the top and the bottom and pull it at the same time. So while you're applying pressure with your right hand, it will open up and you won't mark it or scratch it. So just keep applying pressure. It'll all unsnap from both sides. Just do one at a time. And again, same thing. You're pulling up or pushing up with one hand. And then it has to slide out of the bezel of the steering wheel towards the windshield. And then all we have to do now is take the vinyl piece off and attach it to the new one. So here it's really simple, no tools at all. Just 4 little push-in grommets. You just squeeze them together and push them right through the back. It's always that one that likes to hang up. So you're just squeezing them like this. There. So now we're going to use this, we'll call this a tongue or a collar, with the new one. Attach it the same exact way. And it goes on a lot easier than the way it comes off. So this will be the full installation video. There's no need to watch anything else, because it's much easier with the Intel. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this wire now, and we've got to connect this wire to this wire and then run it out through the sleeve. So since we have no power on, we're going to do that now. So you're connecting a male and female. And we're going to position everything, but we're not going to do any installation of anything. Now I think the wire goes good on the other side, hanging out to the right, away. And then we'll put it back into the bezel of the steering wheel, and it'll be ready for installation.
Then we're going to show you where to run the wire through the dashboard air mixing assembly next. So the sleeve and the collar have to go down inside under the dash, core as we call it. So it's kind of fitting around the steering column. And notice we're pulling the wire out at the same time so it's not too loose or too tight. Then we wiggle it back and forth until it goes inside of the column of the steering wheel bezel, and then we'll tighten it all up and pinch it together after we check our connections. But this here will go all the way inside like that, and then that's lined up nice and flush, and then all the pins will line up. But for now we're not going to do anything. We're going to start taping it down. So we're going to put the sleeve back on with the 2 grommets we took off, and then the wire is just simply hanging out. The green wire harness, or the black harness with the green wire. So we'll lock both these pins in. And the grommets. And now what you have hanging out is just with this one wire. So the wire is going to be hanging out, and this is all going to be pushed back inside. And the wire is going to run through the dashboard, and we're going to not connect the green wire. And we're just going to use a few pieces of tape to hold it down. We're going to run it all the way across, and then we're going to test to make sure that we're not interfering with the seal. We're going to be below the dashboard, so it's not going to interfere. The wire is going to run all the way through and come right out the side, and we've got a spot over here, so it won't affect the sealing of the air in this chamber. All right, so we're continuing to add tape. And like I said, this is the easiest method, the least amount of time. But plugging this plug in is the most difficult, because you might have seen people install items into the main CPU. So we are going to have to open this up, which is only 4 grommets. But getting that plug out is not easy, because you've got to get a little clip in here, which we're going to show you close up. You got to get a little clip in there to release this and pull this out, and then plug it in. Okay, so we'll continue with tape, 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 tape. We're going to go down right here. We're going to put one more piece of tape in here. And then we're going to run it down the side. All right, so now we're going to continue, and we're going to take off this panel and this strip. You need a grommet tool, and then we won't need anything else. No other tools will be required. So first thing is to pull the seal away, and there's one grommet right there. So a flathead screwdriver works a lot better than the little plastic piece we gave you. Okay, now we're going to continue with a little flathead screwdriver. Get it from a real high angle. So you just get that top piston loose and then pull it right out. Okay, now this panel comes out and it unsnaps in a couple of places. And then we just take that right out. So see, it's only a few grommets, locking pins. And now we got to get the carpet out, or a little bit of the carpet, so we can get up inside to show you what is inside of this area. Now we're going to pull down on the carpet, and we're going to have to take the panel off underneath. So the panel, we call it an under dashboard passenger side panel, is 4 grommets. Very easy. And once the grommets come down, then the plastic tray
it's unsnapped. Got one of our blue LED lighting upgrades in here, or there might be the RGB, which changes color. So once you get those 4 loose, just pull on a tab, pull on the other side, and it's all being held up with plastic tabs or clips. So push down gently. There's a speaker in the back and a wire which is for the light. So we're just quickly disconnecting each if you want to get it completely out of the way, which in this case we do because we have to go way up inside to get to the computer. So I'm going to go on the other side and get a low angle. Real time. So now this is the most strenuous part because you have to be flexible. So you'll notice all these wires here. Now that's an open port there, but you can't use it if you have the Intel processor. So that port doesn't have power, only data. So now we're underneath here. Now this is the computer there. It's the main computer. And we've got a video that we already shot installing our other one, so we may cut to that. But now we're going to show you how to get this up in there. So there's 3 plugs in the CPU, and we're going to be taking the second one out. So maybe just try to take it under there, and I have the other footage.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna use.
So we're going to get that out of the way, push the carpeting back in. And now we're going under. And we'll just point to it here. So here you can see what you're going for. And here you're getting the clip. You push this clip in, and pull down. Wiggle a little bit. Okay. So now you've disconnected the computer and you're putting the Y splice in. So this is the Y. So the male end you just took out goes into the female end. And now that male end goes back in the computer. So you might have to flip it around to get it in the right direction, the right way. Shove all the wires up there. And then free the male side up. Flip it around. Get it lined up. Clip it in. When you clip it in, power and data to the display, and your main computer will be reconnected. But this is the only way to do it. You have to lay in the car like this. So we want everyone to know that up front. One time. Okay, we're all booted up now. The computer's up, the maps are up, and now the display is in. So now what we're going to do is close everything up, put the dashboard in, make sure it seals good. Then we're going to show you how to set this for miles per hour and Fahrenheit if you're in the United States. Of course, if you're one of our great Canadian customers, all we have to do is fix the time, and that's it. So first thing first is put the grommets back in and snap in the door sill plate. And here's how you change this is you hold this button to the right, and then in 3 seconds the menu comes up. Then you scroll down here, push to the right. We're in California, so we are GMT -8. The theme is for daylight and display. You might want it always on brightness or always on darkness like it is now. But leaving it to auto works best. PSI or bar. CAN 1. Mileage. Miles. English. Format. UTI. Then keep scrolling down. So I'm only going back and forth like this. And now I'm out. So we got 56 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's really a nice size display for the speedometer. I've got this flash on. But anyway, you really can see it well. It's even larger than this one. Okay, so now we're going to go back here and the panel goes back. First thing is plug the light in if you disconnected it, the speaker in if you disconnected it. If you didn't, you can let it hang down. It just makes it a little easier if you're to lay in there. The panel, again, it slides all the way in. And then we're going to bring the dashboard in and we're going to explain a little bit about the airflow and how it operates, how it works. Then we're going to close all this up and we're going to snap this together, but it fits together really nice, really perfect. It does take some pressure because you have to put it from the bottom and the top and squeeze at the same time. Now for the door sill, remember, feed it in the back first and lay it down gently. And once you hook up the grommet, then it just snaps in the holes. So you might want to move the rubber door sill out of the way, or the door seal. And check your grommets, make sure you're lined up good. All that fits so nice and flush and perfect. Put your floor mat back in, 3D Max spider mats, and it's just like brand new. So the last grommet goes in. This top plate is the last piece that goes up there is a grommet on the top and a hook on the bottom. So when we get there, we'll show you with the clip how to do that. All right, so don't forget the top one here. And let's show the wiring on the side. So we're putting the wire across the dash in the air mixing chamber, down the side like this. And then the wire is going to go here. So we're not just going to put the wire on top because you'll have an air leak here, right? So the wire has to be just right in this groove here. And then we're going to show you how that works with the dashboard. And we're going to put the dashboard back in next. So lay the seal down, tap it downward, and we got to put the panel back in last. So there's a hook on the bottom. Can you see the hook, please? Yeah, hook there. Slide the hook in and downward, and then push the button on the top. It latches in. Door seal goes back in. It's all as good as new. Press it in real hard and upward. You want to get a nice seal for the door, no wind noise. And now we put the dashboard back in. So here comes the dash. And I think I'm going to come on that side just to show where the wire is sitting. So right around here. So the essential part of this is the location of this wire. So this wire is here running down there. It's all going to go below the clips. They're going to hold it in. So now here goes the dash. So you insert it, you tilt it like this, tilt it back, make sure the gray piece goes in. So the gray goes inside, and this is what's going on the other side. You make sure you're centered off the center console, and if you're centered here, then we're going to press downward. So we did move the wire around a little bit. You don't want to be blocking this. So you got to go down with the wire and then like that. So the clearance is good. Okay, and now, like all of our dashboard assemblies, we're going to push in the back first. So you snap the front piece in, which is towards the windshield. And then the rear, just pressing it down. Okay, and now we want to show you how the side panel goes on, or the passengers. Okay, so again, now we're lining up everything, and we're making sure the wire has slack, and you want to get it out of the way of the connections of the grommets. Okay, so put the bottom one in, the top two in, snap it closed. And then the end cap goes back on. This is our carbon fiber upgrade end cap for Gen 1. It's all nice and flush. The dashboard is flush. We're gonna go on the other side. We know a lot about dashboards. We've been making them for like 8 years. And then once it's all the way in and down, then we're gonna check our airflow. So as we're doing that, I'm gonna show you about airflow mixing. So I usually take it out of auto mode and put the front vents on. And you can split the vents. This is usually how we tell everyone to have the air conditioning come out, cools the roof in the summertime. So whether you have one of our great retractable headliners or not, the airflow is coming up and over the passengers. Now we're going to do a test and put it right on there, dead center, straight at the driver's face. Turn it up full blast, and the airflow should be perfect right at us. Now the valve has to switch over and mix, so it's coming right at us. And that's the best thing about this unit, is that there's never any issues of this blocking the airflow. So everything is good in the mixing. Split it, go up, put it in automatic. Everything is working. We're gonna close up the center column. So again, the teeth are gonna engage and bite. You gotta push from the top and then up from the bottom. We like to start closer to the dashboard first. Really squeeze it down hard, push it up hard. And this side, same thing. It does take a lot of force. You gotta keep pushing from the bottom upward, and then this has to be engaged inside of the column. And that's it. No screws, no tools, simple. Here, hold there a second. And now we like to check everything. So we like to go into the steering column, go in and out, up, down. So this is all the way in. Looks awesome. Fits great. Our Alcantara there needs to be pressed down. So that's all the way down, and that's all the way up. So this is the full range vertical. And then of course you got your ring. All right, thanks again for watching. Much easier to install, no center console disassembly, just one panel underneath, pop the dashboard out. Much quicker. So if you have the Intel processor, you'll love it. Thanks again. It's Mark with RPM Tesla, and it's the center Model 3Y steering column cluster display. So you can see how this 0 speed is very large, easy to read, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, everything's inside. Again, the switches, the controls for your distance of your autopilot are 765-432. You'll see distances in the car. You've got your speed that it reads from the computer, lights, high beams, whether they're engaged. And also, once the dashboard's back in, put in one of our great air fresheners. We give you 4 refills. These are awesome. Thanks again for watching. It's RPM Tesla. And we're very happy that this is right in your line of sight. You don't have to turn your head every time you want to see with both eyes. That's kind of what I noticed is the average person looks at the speed and they have to turn their head. Otherwise, only one eye can see it because our nose actually blocks it. So anyway, that's our latest observation.